Hi again, folks. This is Carmela of the Cinema Kitchen. And if you remember, I was just telling you I was going to give that Omni blender a try, see how it does with green smoothies. So what I'm going to do today, it's what we call our generic winter smoothie. So when there's not a lot of fruit available, then we go to this smoothie, which uses some very basic fruit and some greens, yet tastes very delicious. So the first thing we're going to do, well, maybe I should actually, Don, can you focus a little bit on the blender so you can see? So actually, I find it looks, it's very aesthetic, much more than, I don't know if I can say that, but personally I don't like the Blendtec so much in the looks of it, but this is more pleasing to my eyes. It is also with an electronic control with different settings for certain amounts of seconds, and you can also run it yourselves with the low, medium, or high speed. So this is a toy that I'm going to use today. What's very interesting I find with the Omni blender is that you can actually use two types of containers. So this is a container that it comes with, a squarish kind of container. Let's see, six cups, but I can see that you can probably fit another cup or two in here. And okay, and it's got 6 blades, so looks like it should do a good job. But what's very fascinating to me is that it's also compatible, the base is also compatible with a Vitamix container. And just earlier you met Thomas Fox of 3blenders.com, who sells these blenders, and he also gives the option to have either the Omni blender container or the Vitamix container. So you can see, and both are actually, they have the same base, so they are compatible. So I think this is great. So anyways, we'll start working today with the Omni blender container and see how good a job it does at making a green smoothie. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to put in there, I'm going to start with bananas. So we've got 2 bananas, and the reason why I put the bananas first is that they are softer. So then there's less of a chance that some particles get stuck underneath and then makes it hard to blend. So I'm going to put my 2 bananas. Also we got an apple, and you'll notice it's a full apple, core and all. And we've left also the skin on because it's an organic apple. If you were to use an apple that is not organic, I would really recommend to peel it first because a lot of the pesticides get stuck on the skin. So an organic apple. 2 oranges. Of course, well, I suppose the pits would be okay in there, but it's better if you see that it's got some seeds to just de-seed them first. We like to add a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice because we find it helps to preserve the smoothie and the lovely green color as well. So here we have the juice of half a lemon and half a lime. And now for our greens, we prefer to use Swiss chard because we find it doesn't have much of a flavor and lots of nutrition. Spinach is also a very good choice if you're not used to putting greens to your smoothies because it's so mild. Kale is also a good choice. We like to use kale but with other greens though, because we find just kale on its own has a bit too much of a strong flavor. And all kinds of greens, really. You could use a dandelion. Some people use herbs, although I don't recommend playing with herbs right away because it's an acquired taste. So today we've got, I guess, a couple of leaves or 2 or 3 leaves of Swiss chard, and we actually took the spine off. And maybe it's not necessary, but we find it's easier to blend that way. And let's see, the other thing, what we've started to use in the last year or so is chia seeds. And chia seeds are just wonderful for nutrition. It's just incredible. So much omega-3s and calcium, iron, everything. It's just amazing. Ancient power food of the people. Is it the Aztecs, Don? Yeah. So we like to put a tablespoon of that. It's also going to thicken the smoothie a little bit and make it slow down the digestion. So then, you know, you're filled up for longer with your smoothie. And the last thing, some water. So we're using filtered water. We don't like to use tap water unless you live like at Monchasta where we were visiting not so long ago. They have spring water coming through the tap, but that's very unusual. So chlorine water is actually really not so good at all. So I would recommend, this is the easiest, cheapest filter available, the Brita. So we're going to put about a couple of cups of water. Now we're going to give it a try. Secure that. And I think I'm going to go with the 60-second cycle because I'm pretty sure that's a good place to start. All right, let's do it. So the telltale with blenders, it's always whether the greens are completely broken down. If you have some specks, that means it will be harder to assimilate all the goodies in there. So let's see. Oh, it's looking really good, guys. Want to focus and have a look? Actually, it might be simpler. I'm just going to pour a smoothie in a glass here. Wait, we're going to cheers.
Oh, we're going to have to, yes. I have to do that. Well, thank you, Carmela. Thanks for coming. You and Don and Kylo, it was fantastic. And you folks, you should all consider inviting, send an email to Carmela and invite her to come to her house, to your house for a week and cook with you, teach you a lot of things. Cheers.
Well, cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.